Hey, everybody. I have to clear my throat for our very first happy hour on Instagram Live, which I am so very excited about. CeeLo Green is joining us once again. We had such a great conversation a few weeks ago. We were waiting for his album to drop. CeeLo Green is Thomas Callaway. It has since dropped, and he is going to join me live for a preview of the album. And I have my cocktail ready, which is my favorite cocktail for happy hour, little skinny margarita. And while we wait for CeeLo, I will share a little bit of the recipe because it's the easiest thing ever, and I make it in a mason jar because it's easier to measure. It is equal part tequila, triple sec, and lime juice. And it's delicious, but it has to be the really, really fresh lime juice. Okay, so now that I have you prepped for cocktail hour, CeeLo Green is going to join us live here on Instagram to give us this amazing preview of his new album, which I'm so thrilled to talk to him about. It's gotten incredible reviews. CeeLo, hello, my friend.
Hi.
Cheers. I was just giving everyone a little preview of the amazing reviews I have been reading about your album. Congratulations.
Write down on anything? Are you enjoying the listen?
I'm enjoying it, and I'm loving that you are getting such glowing reviews about it. Variety was talking about how this is kind of like going back in a time machine to 1968. It's like Elvis era because of how well written it is, and or we music. Just tell us what the album's all about, and for people that missed our last IG Live, what people can expect on
it. The album, I saw somebody saying that they're like, what album? So
it's CeeLo Green is Thomas Callaway.
Yes, CeeLo Green is Thomas Callaway. It was released a few days ago, on the 26th to be exact, and it is being met with a resounding praise of admiration and appreciation. So warm and so loving, and it's a really good feeling to have released an album. Because you never know. It's always that period of vulnerability when you're about to do something new. You're about to take the leap of faith again. And as artists, people don't always understand the dynamic. But it's always a matter of win, lose, or draw. You know what I'm saying? We have to be willing to be, brave in the face of that adversity of just unknowingness. You just really don't know. You can just kind of, follow your heart, and just do what's honest and genuine, to you, And so I'm glad that translates, every time, that I've, that I've done what I do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can ask for, right? Is to be genuine and have people embrace it and love it. And this vulnerability was really, I mean, that's the whole title of the album. It's CeeLo Green is Thomas Callaway. That is your given name. And this was something that you talked to me about, why that was so important for you to dig into. What are some of the songs that we're going to hear and the way that captures who you really are? Because there's your persona on TV and on the stage and all of that, and then there is Thomas Callaway.
Well, the title suggests that there is a duality there and a dynamic there, which one end of the spectrum is Thomas Callaway, quiet and private and introspective and introverted, in some regard. But then you have the polar opposite, CeeLo Green, who is outrageous, over the top, and completely extroverted. You know what I'm saying? And it may read difficult for someone else, but it's fairly easy to me, being that I'm a Gemini. So I live with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I live with that. So, yeah, no, this album is, I gotta say, and I'm typically not biased about my own music, but I'll say this is probably my, well, maybe until I do something else, I don't know. I have to beat it, but I was just about to say that this is the best body of work that I've done, I think. But you got Gnarls Barkley fans who would argue that that's not the case. That's not true. You got Glee Mob fans that would argue that. So I don't know.
It's good to have fans that just love all of it in general. They don't care which one's the best. You
Yeah.
said you were nervous about this album dropping. I think people would be surprised to hear that. Was this did I read it correctly? This was the first album that you've had come out in 5 years. Is that why?
Yeah. Well, because I didn't know, um, I didn't know what people would be in the mood for, and it's all about trying to gauge where people are so you can meet them wherever they may happen to be. If you want to make that connection, that is. Now, if if music is just recreational or reckless abandon, then have at it. You know what I mean? But for me, it's always about trying to speak. You know what I mean? Truth to power and empower. An extension of. You know what I mean? And so I want to be really really close to people. You know what I'm saying? And remind them either I'm reminding them of themselves. And what greatness we've accomplished. As the human being, in the human experience, or I'm introducing them to themselves for the first time. Maybe this album is symbolic of something that they didn't, quite know that would speak to them in such a way. But you just have to be exposed to it. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, I just want to make sure that the options are available. You know what I mean? Like you got to make it a fair game. You know what I mean? I think that we, are short-sighted. You know what I mean? In a way of where we only, we're kind of, fixated on the one or two options that they are, or seemingly, are. And so I just don't believe that that's true. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always here to be a daredevil for the people. You know what I mean? And so, so with that, I always ponder to myself: do people want to see me play it safe, or do they want to see me survive another stunt? You know what I'm saying? you know, so it's fun to me. It's fun to do things that are left of center, that are eccentric, that are boutique and novelty. You know what I mean? That are nostalgic and throwback in that way. And I just feel like, I'm not an emulation or an imitation. I'm an embodiment of those past eras that influenced me so greatly. And it's just, I'm one. So like I'm one with those inspirations, and I just want to pass it on. It should be the gift that keeps on giving. So that's what it's kind of always about with me.
At the same time, when it feels like a throwback and it feels like it's taking you back to this incredibly nostalgic time, it really, at the same time, speaks to the present and speaks to what's happening right now, the national conversation about systemic
Yeah,
racism. And tell me about
right.
that. And that's
Well,
important.
I think that that was beyond, our control, and honestly not by our design. You know, if we had it our way, the album would have come out a few months ago. Because it was finished and we were all slated um, and ready to go. And then we had some particulars that did not, align. You know what I mean? And so, we missed a window. But you know,
For a reason, maybe.
for a reason. You know what I mean? Because like now with throughout the quarantine, at first I felt like, stating the obvious. I mean, and observing the obvious, people are frustrated, they're angry, they're afraid. You know what I mean? So it's a a matter of just a lot of mixed emotions. You know what I mean? Like a misguidedness. You have to manage, that emotion. You know what I mean? And find some type of way to harness it into a power. You know what I mean? And so sometimes, um, you know, that process needs like mediation, and music has always been mediated for me. And so I believe that, this project served a great purpose, in a time where people were still enough to not only hear the album, but really listen to it. You know what I mean? And me assuming too much about, a general admission of people's emotions and where they may be, I didn't realize that immediately, people would want the peace and solitude, and quaint, and the stillness, the quietness, the wholesomeness, the lovingness, the tenderness of this album. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
I was just a bit apprehensive because I didn't know if I would match up with the emotion because my emotions had changed. You know what I mean? Like I was angry. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the things that I wanted to say, had a different tone to them. But this album is speaking volumes.
Do you think that this album has helped with the anger, or are you still angry?
Um, I definitely think it did. You know what I mean? And so now it's not so much. It's still anger. You know what I mean? But it's more of an assertion now. You know. And then I think um, I always say that music is essential work, and I consider myself an essential worker, and I have to find peace in knowing that I'm doing my part. I mean, um, if I can, you know what I mean. If I can give us a moment of clarity, a moment of humanity and humility, you know what I'm saying? Um, it could literally save lives.
That's what we desperately need right now. One viewer that's chiming in is saying it's dope. It's got a great feeling to it, and that's the thing. I mean, it's the feeling that you get from it. It's that comfort, as music often does, provide us comfort and an escape from everything that's going on. And there's nothing more than what we need right now as an escape. What's your favorite song on the album?
Okay.
Or can
I
you play
got
us something
well.
from
To
it?
be totally honest, Lynn, I'm telling you, I do not listen to my albums after it's done. It's out of body. You know what I mean? It's
Wait, so you don't even listen to the final product?
I'm defaulted to have to kind of either approve something, whether it be a mix or something like that. I kind of have to. Um, so yes, I do, but you know, I've never watched like episodes of The Voice or stuff like that. Like I don't just go back randomly or deliberately, to go and see any of that stuff. And I thought
Why
that it was
not?
just me, but then I watched an interview with Johnny Depp, and he said he had never watched any of his movies. And I said, okay, so it's not just me. And then it made even more sense when I found out that he was a Gemini like me. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's a Gemini thing. I don't know. But so one of my favorite songs is "For You." Somebody said "For You." That's the first song on the album is called "For You." And what I like about this song and what I like about this album, it's what all great albums are intended to be. LP is an abbreviation for long play. You know what I'm saying? So to have something, you know, uh, push play on it and it just runs all the way down, um, you don't have those listening experiences, often enough anymore. You know what I mean? Like, especially when, with the way that technology has advanced and, and rightfully so, like you shouldn't buy something that, you don't or will not possibly enjoy, after the fact. So you should be able to kind of listen to it and be like, I like this one, I like this one not so much. But this is old fashioned in that kind of way because this album just plays all the way down. And the point I was making about not listening to my music is I can listen to this album all the way down. And I've listened to it about 3 or 4 times in a row as we were driving around the other day. And we live out in the country, so it's so scenically complimentary. You know, is that a word? Complimentary.
Yes, we're it
So
complements the vibe.
yeah, so we're riding down a country road, and it's like doing it all together.
I actually had
But
somebody. Wait, so one person said, "Can CeeLo hit a high note for us?"
a high note, I don't know if I can hit one. I need some tea. I try to. I try. Ah! Oh, so that's terrible. So she said no.
No, it's not.
Okay, but they want me to play. So wait a minute. So let me get my instructions right. You want me to play a snippet of the ones I like the most?
Please, and talk to us about why you like them and all that.
Well, to be totally honest, guys, you may not have gathered this by my onstage antics, over the top costumes and persona, you know, but I'm a simple person in real life. You know what I mean? I am an American dad and a fat family guy. That's me. It's like I'm a real life Peter Griffin. You know what I'm saying? And so I like the simplicity. Love should be simple too. I mean, like, love is a conversation, love is a relation, and you know, communication is the cornerstone to any healthy relationship. So I've been advantaged a great deal, being that I'm a writer by trade, and then also I'm a hopeless romantic. So I love love, and I love
And your
this
love
song.
is there, and I hear her in the room as well. She joined us the last time. It was so nice to meet her.
Yes.
Tell her I said hi.
Hi,
Lynn.
come on in.
Hi, it's nice to hear your voice. I want to hear some of this music, and so do our viewers as well. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
And so do our viewers. They were like, play us some of this masterpiece.
Okay, I'm going to play for you. This is the first song on the album.
I'm gonna lip sync it. If I fall in love with you, I need to know that you love me too. Nobody else for you. If I give my heart away, I must be sure that I will be the one, the only one for you. Nice.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And that's the whole vibe, is that you feel like you're sort of in a lounge and you feel like you're sitting there with your love and you're just sort of having a cocktail and enjoying it. And that's really the heart of the album, is about love and about this beautiful writing. Someone actually asked whether or not you would ever think of doing a rock or metal album.
Oh, absolutely. I just got through doing an interview yesterday, and he was caught way off guard when I explained to him what my childhood was like. And this was like the 80s. When I was growing up, this was before rap music. You know, I I grew up loving hair metal and real hard heavy metal. So I grew up liking Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and Motley Crue.
Really?
So, can you believe that? Oh yeah.
I can't believe that. I've actually interviewed Motley Crue before. That was a trip. That was amazing.
Me and Tommy are friends.
Yeah.
Tommy played
I
on my
had the most
album. He
incredible
played
time
on
interviewing.
Lady Killer with me. So
Yeah,
I got a chance to perform with them in LA, at the Hollywood Bowl at their show. They did a version of Girl Don't Go Away Mad, Just Go Away. It was mixed with Forget You. Girl, don't go away mad. just go away. You know,
Oh,
it was like, I see you driving around town, the girl I love. You know, so it was a perfect mashup.
I'm
So yeah,
definitely
no,
going
actually
to
I would.
include
I've
that
done
one.
I've done some heavy metal stuff. It's kind of like unreleased. I started on a project called Girl Power a few years ago, and I didn't finish it because we ended up going in a different direction. But I have a few like hard rock songs that I think people I like. And yeah, before it's all said and done, I think I'll definitely have to revisit that and put on
All
my
right,
spikes.
I got the first interview when you do that, just since I have the Motley Crue connection. So, CeeLo, they're asking, Joe is asking, can you talk a little bit about your book?
Oh, well, people may not know that I put out a an autobiography a few years ago. I think it was a little, I think it was a little premature, honestly. Because so much more is coming to pass. I believe that the universe has, so many wonders in store for me to, experience and, but it's called Everybody's Brother. So I'm more than likely going to have to write another book. You know what I mean? Because great things are happening to me now.
Well, why did you write it at the time that you did?
Because people were just enamored with, you know, because I'm an alien to people. It's like I sing old '70s songs that sound like they were recorded in the '70s. I grew up listening to Motley Crue. I mean, like, what black guys do reference Motley Crue? In your average interview with Lynn Smith? Nobody. So I grew up listening to Commission. I see that he's talking about gospel. Of course, my mother and father were ministers, so he's asking me about a gospel group called Commission. Yeah, Commission, the Winings, Leon Patillo, Andre Crouch, the Clark Sisters, all of that.
Yeah, we talked about your parents the last time we
Mhm.
were chatting, and you talked about how both of them have passed away. And what would they think? You talk about what God has in store for you, and everything that you plan to continue to do, and everything you've already accomplished. What do you think they'd think of this album?
My my mother my mother is everything I do. Everything I have to say, every inkling of understanding, every ounce of wisdom, it is her. So, what else can I say? I am possessed with her memory and with her will and her work for me. You know what I mean? So I'm acting out what her wishes were for her only son, and
Mm.
that's to be great. And at the very least, be a great human being.
That bond with mother and sons is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I only dream that my son says that about me one day, even if it's the way that he, types on the computer. I hope to have that same bond. That's pretty amazing. One person's asking, do you still feel like the place that you sing can pull out certain emotions? I think certainly it
Yes,
must.
and since we're friends, Lynn, I'll confide in you something that's really intimate and really sensitive and personal.
Hmm.
But I cry a lot, and this album, um, many things make me cry. You know what I mean? I've just got a soft spot in me. You know what I mean? Um, and I've got a sweetheart. You know, and I love people, and I wish that I could take all of the suffering out of the world. All of those many cliche things. I just wish we could live together in harmony. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But this album, it makes me cry because it's beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't always, I don't always feel beautiful. You know what I mean? I don't always feel appreciated. Sometimes I feel unseen. I feel unsung. I feel underappreciated. You know what I mean? And then on darker days, I feel invisible. You know what I mean? And so therefore, without the purpose you know, and calling on my voice and on my life, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's like I go blank, you know what I mean? I don't have anything to do, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like my whole life is just centered around loving on people just to the best of my ability. And, that's a life worth living if I could just breathe life into people, you know what I'm saying? Because for some tactical reason or some logistical reason, my wiring just allowed me to be exposed uh, and retain and then filter and reiterate so much. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even really know how. Like as a black kid growing up in Atlanta, Georgia, I don't even know how I listen to so much music. I don't know how I was just aware of these things and they just spoke to me. So like, but as I got older, I realized that there was purpose in that, and I started to kind of repurpose it. You know what I mean? And use it. To my advantage. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I'm really intelligent about music, and I'm really versed and educated about music at large. So
You talk a lot about your purpose and your calling. Actually, one viewer's asking whether or not you'll ever do a gospel album.
Well, like the way music is, there's something really beautiful. There's something really selfless. Uh, there's something really loving and genuine, about even this album. So those characteristics are Christ-like, you know what I mean, in some regard. So there's an element, that qualifies this album as gospel to me too. You know what I'm saying? Because even though it's categorized as secular music, it's not vulgar. You know what I'm saying? It's not profane. You know what I'm saying?
We talked about that actually the last time we chatted, that this almost feels like gospel music. And
Yeah.
now that you played a little bit and I've listened to, it really does have that feel. And we have someone else asking what Prince was like. Did you know Prince? Did you?
Oh yeah. I did an interview with a big Prince enthusiast last night. Goes by the name of Mr. Christopher. I don't know where we were talking to him from. He may as well have been in the kitchen at Paisley Park. He loves Prince. I said, gee, he's a bigger Prince fan than me. So no, but no, I knew Prince. I want to say I knew him very well because his music, just it struck me like lightning as a kid, and I was afraid of Prince. You know what I mean? But I was drawn to him because he was beautiful. Like he's one of the few men that other men can say, hey man, I'm strong, but he's a beautiful guy. What can I say?
He is a beautiful man.
So, but and to have him, acknowledge me in my lifetime and in his is like, it's amazing. It's an amazing memory and reality, you know what I mean? Like to relish in, and it was wonderful knowing Prince. It was wonderful. He's the absolute best that ever did it, that ever walked the earth. Nobody better than Prince.
That's incredible. Do you still keep in touch with Danger Mouse? Joe is asking.
Yes. See, what I'm doing at the moment, and what I meant earlier, by saying once I'm done with something, it's in the world. It's yours. It belongs to you now. So I'm at a point in my professional career to where I can structure my agreements to where they aren't long and extensive, and obligatory. I can do one album here and another album there. You know what I'm saying? So I like to call it my one-man Wu-Tang. That's what I call it. But so I'm so not only was I working on this album, I'm also working on the 25th year anniversary album with Goody Mob. And yes, to answer his question, I do talk to Danger Mouse, and we are working on another Gnarls Barkley album too.
Okay, so that's what you have coming up, a heavy metal album, anything, an autobiography, anything else you've got in the works that you want to share with us?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do a male plus size modeling calendar with me dressed up in a fireman suit. All kind of good stuff is all coming your way.
All right, that will be the highlight of the career. Forget everything else and all the Grammys and all that. It is going to be that.
Yeah.
I have to say, CeeLo Green, it is so wonderful to talk to you again. You are so insightful, and I think that that comes across in this album, and that's why the reviews have been so glowing, and that's why so many people have been drawn to it. It's because of your great spirit and how genuine you are. Thanks for sharing so much of it with us.
Thank you, darling. Thank you for having me back.
Take care. I hope to talk to you soon. And when that heavy metal album drops, right here on IG Live.
I got you. I got you.
Bye. Take care.